So I am here to tell me and Pilar's story about who she was and how she passed away and how I'm honoring her in her death. Pilar was amazing. She was beautiful, but not only on the outside, but the inside as well. She had this light in her that whoever met her felt special. She also was very honest. She would stick up for you even when you wouldn't stick up for yourself. And she would just kind of tell you how it is. And that's something that I admired about her. She was very protective of me as a younger sister. She felt like nothing was good enough for me or nobody was good enough for me. And she would just always defend me, even when I couldn't defend myself. So losing her was really tough on me. It felt like my protection was snatched away from me in a sense. Like I knew that she had my back no matter what. So even when I did things that she felt was like not right or wrong or not age appropriate, she would get on me. Um, yeah, a lot. And she was really tall and I'm like shorter, so I went and fight back or go back and forth with her. My mom will call her wild child because she's a middle child, but she's always just been full of life, going for what she wants. When she was a teenager, she modeled for an organization, and I remember I would go to her practices with her runway practice, and I'll look through the window and I'll see her and the other girls walking down the runway. I remember her, like, one of her jobs where we would go to the mall and she was like, be like a clothing model in the window. So they'll actually stand still, like the dolls and stuff like that. So we'll walk by and see her do that. Makeup and stuff. I learned how to do everything from her. Like I would look and see her put on her makeup or use her modeling book where they teach them to put on makeup. So I would just kind of do what she did. I just wanted to be like her. So background, we were raised in Broward County, Florida, in underserved community. So our dad died when we were younger. So it left my mom to take care of us by herself. So with that, it was a lot of stress on the single mom, but also like government assistance, housing, food stamps and stuff. So we came from pretty much nothing, but God made it where we had enough to survive, and we were raised with love, which was really important. Outside of when you don't have the material things, you always have love, and my mom was an amazing mother. Protecting us from a lot. But with being raised and with limited resources, you try to find other things or you try to get access to things that you can't. So with Pilar, she did get introduced to the fast life, and then it ended up, she ended up getting in some legal trouble, and with the legal trouble led to prison time. So that was something her experience there. Drugs, I'm not sure when it came along. I'm not sure if it started at like as a let me try this. I only do it when I party. But what I found out after she died is that it was more like she was taking pills. I don't know if it was a addiction, but I know she was like misusing it. I know she had some surgery and stuff before, so maybe it started in she was taking it for surgery, and then she started taking it to sleep or deal with the different emotional sense the emotional state that she was in. She did tell me when she was in prison, she did experience some stuff. And I also found out after she died to the extent of like abuse that she experienced in prison, and that she was taking, they would give her anxiety medication during prison. So I'm not sure if that's something that when she got out of prison, if it was resources given to her or if she was just trying to self-medicate. I do know the day that she passed, a few days before, our mom had been put in end-of-life care because she was dying from leukemia. So I know for sure when she was taking the medication during the time of her death, it was to cope with my mom dying. It was hard for me because I'm the only one in my family that went to college. Now we have some my nephews are going to college, so that's good. It's some up and coming. But I was the first one at that time to graduate on time, go to college, not have a child at a younger age. So during that time, I was, focusing on making something out of myself. But again, my sister just was always there helping and providing for me. So when she did go to prison, I just remember praying so hard that they would give her probation because it was like her first real charge, and she had just had a baby and she had another kid. So hoping and praying that she wouldn't get any hard time. She ended up getting 3 years. And I remember going to visit her for the first time. It was my first time going to visit to someone in prison. And it was good to see her. I was happy, but I didn't, like, when I left, when I was leaving, I cried. And it was crying because I was leaving her there. Even though she was in good spirits and she didn't want to see me cry or sad. But it hit me that I had to leave my sister there. And she was just so strong that, like, she was turning away to not let me see her cry. But it just hit me, I guess, I don't know if it was grieving or heartbreak that, like, oh, I have to leave her here in these conditions, and I can't take her with me. So it was really hard on me. And just being the one that kind of had it together at that time. My mom was taking care of her 2 boys. I had to, answer a lot of phone calls, put money on her books and stuff, just hold her down as her little sister, but just someone that loved her and wanted to make sure she was okay. She did so much for me when I was younger, though. Like, she made sure that I was straight in every sense of the, like, way. So it wasn't hard for me to do it for her, like making sure that her boys were okay or they were able to come and see her when they could, because she was also in prison during COVID time. So that was another layer of it just being an emotional time, because it was times where they shut the prison down and people couldn't come visit, or she couldn't see her kids. She even got COVID during the time she was in prison, so it was times she couldn't video chat her kids. So, yeah. She died on February the 4th, 2024. And she was going to get a tattoo, but before she was going to get a tattoo, because again, my mom was passing away, so she was going to get my mom's signature tatted on her, just in memory of her. She was seeking Percocets at the time, and she called her ex-boyfriend, and he provided those for her, and she took the pill. After she left the tattoo shop, I believe it was afterwards, and then she went home, and she said that she was going to sleep. She was laying back to go to sleep, and this is the story that I received from the person who found her, and she was snoring really loud, which is, the sound that people they'll make sometimes when they're overdosing. And the person who found her said it was like a loud snore that they never heard before. And then they went over to try to move her, and she was heavy, and they couldn't move her. So on February the 4th, 2024, I received a call from my eldest sister, Tasha, saying that Pilar was unresponsive. And then again, I prayed again really hard, hoping that the situation would turn around, because she was so strong. It was just really, it didn't seem real getting that phone call. When I got that call, I was thinking my eldest sister was calling me because my mom had passed, because again, she was really sick and she was pretty much dying. So I get another phone call maybe an hour and a half later saying that she didn't make it, that she had died. And at that time, we didn't know that it was fentanyl poisoning that killed her. But with me, I work with a substance misuse organization called Brevard Prevention Coalition. I figured that it was probably fentanyl poisoning. And the crazy thing is, I talked to her like 2 days before. So she died on a Sunday, and I talked to her on Friday because I had went to a fentanyl awareness and Narcan training. So I was talking to her and telling her about the crazy stuff that's out here. And I told her, hey, make sure you tell your friends about it. They need to be safe. Not knowing that I should have been warning her in that moment on the dangers out there and how that she needs to be careful. And that really it was a weight and a guilt for a while for me because I do so much in the community and save so many lives, and I felt like I could not save my sister's life. So I didn't find out until a few months later when they did the autopsy report, and they came back with the results, and the percentage of fentanyl that was in her system was very high. I sent it to my program director, and he's like really well versed when it comes to substance use and the percentage of fentanyl that it would take to kill someone. And he called me immediately and was like, that is a lot in her system. Like, did you try to reach out to DEA? Because that is an alarming amount in her system. I did some research, and it was enough in her system to kill 3 to 5 people. I contacted the police officers for, like, who reported to the crime scene. And it wasn't a they didn't do any case or anything like that. They didn't really document it as much. But luckily, in her purse that she had at the time, she had 2 pills left. So 2 pills in her purse, and I had been calling around trying to, like, hey, I have some pills in her purse that I would like to turn into you guys. I know who sold it to her and all those things, because, I'm just thinking, like, what if a kid gets a hold of these pills that my sister got a hold to? They'll die, or somebody else would die. So it was a lot of back and forth with the police station. They weren't picking up. This was Lauderhill Police Station in Broward County. So I sent an email to them. I still didn't get a response. Then they would pick up, and they'll, like, just give me the runaround. Then one time they answered, or I picked up when they called me back, and they gave my case to a detective. And then I drove down to South Florida, where I'm from, Broward County, and I gave him the purse. I gave him not the purse, but I gave him the pills in the purse. I didn't touch the baggie that they came in because, fentanyl is very dangerous. So, I also sent him screenshots of, like, the transaction, the Cash App transaction from my sister buying the pills. It was, like, around the same time that she had passed away, and other information that I had when it came to, like, the situation. Also, my sister didn't use the pills alone. She was with someone, and they woke up. But they woke up, and they were, like, their heart was beating fast. They could not hear, and they went to the hospital. So they were able to go to the hospital and survive, which was great because that's how we found out what happened. That person was also willing to, talk about it with the officers. And, they took the information. They said they'll get back to me. And it was, again, phone tag, back and forth. I think I missed one of his calls, then I called again. And then it was even so much like I was waiting for them to call that I put the detective on my favorites list on my cell phone so I would not miss his call, even if my phone was on do not disturb. But again, it just kind of went cold, and I haven't heard from them since. And instead of being angry and upset, I just kind of put that energy into trying to save other people's lives. I work in substance use prevention right now with Brevard Prevention Coalition. So I do a lot of community outreach, and I talk to the youth, trying to prevent them from even reaching substance use. I also do a lot of outreach where I give education and resources to the community. But outside of that, I also have started a civic group in honor of my sister called Do It for P. I have a pen right here. So the saying is, do it for P, do it for me. I am my sister's keeper. What I do is go out in communities, I knock on doors, I give them Narcan, I tell my story, I hear their stories. And I focus on underserved communities because a lot of times they're not in the spaces where they have access to the knowledge and resources that somebody like me that works in the field may have. And a lot of times I go to these events where they're honoring people that died from fentanyl poisoning or opioids. And I don't see a lot of people of color or Black people. A lot of times I look at the table and my sister's the only Black girl on there. But when I go into communities, I'm hearing so many stories about people having to use Narcan on their cousin, their sister, their mother. They lost their mother to poisoning. So much, like they have a friend whose sibling is suffering from substance use disorder. So I know the stories are out there. I know it's happening in these communities, but they're not in the rooms. So I go out, I tell my story, and I fight against the stigma so that they know, like, hey, you're not the only one. Your story matters. Your loved one matters. They weren't a junkie. They weren't an addict. They were a human being whose life was stolen from them. And it gives a lot of people space to, one, say, hey, yeah, this happened to me. Yeah, I used to struggle with this. And it's just beautiful. I hug people who I know went through what I went through, because I know it's a journey and it's an experience that is really hard to even put in words. So that's where I'm at now. We do a lot of community events. In February of this year, 2025, we did I Am My Sister's Keeper event, where we had a lot of community resources come out that focus on like job security, substance use, and mental health. Also, what else did we have? Physical health, and one more thing I can't think about at the moment, but we had a lot of community resources out there providing resources to those underserved communities. It's open to anybody. I'll have a conversation with anybody. I'll give Narcan to anyone. It's just my main focus on people that don't have access to those resources, because they're at risk, higher risk as well. And then in a few weeks, on September the 20th, we're going to have a health fair where we're partnering with the local medical school, and their students are going to come out and give out free health exams to people. We're also going to provide training on Stop the Bleed, training, and give a certificate, because, that can help somebody out with getting a job. But bringing these resources to the community, because a lot of times they're not going to go and get it, but that doesn't mean they don't need them. If you are experiencing substance use disorder, I want you to know that you are not alone. You don't have to be embarrassed. I know it's a big stigma out there, and you don't want people to talk about you, but I'd rather you say, hey, I need help. You reach out to a trusted loved one. Like, it's people out there that care and do not want you to be a victim like my sister. Also, like, you are important. I know you may have went through something or experienced something that may have drove you to use substances. But it is okay, and I care. Also, what I want you all to know is that even though Pilar, she had her ups and downs in life like everyone does, she didn't deserve to die. She went for a Percocet and got fentanyl. She had a Percocet before and was able to wake up and hug her children, take them to school, see them grow up, and that was stolen from her. The last time I talked to her, she was telling me how she was moving in her new apartment the next week. When she got out of prison, she turned her life around. She went to school. She wanted to become a nurse, so she was enrolled in school. She was the manager of her clinic that she worked at. She had so much to offer the world, and it was taken from her too soon. Her son is graduating this year. He has a few full ride offers for football, and it sucks because she's not able to see her baby cross that finish line. And yeah, so families are hurting. I'm missing a sister. That protection that I had on earth is not here anymore. And now I'm left with the broken pieces, trying to put it together and make her legacy known. And me and so many other families were fighting not only for people to see that our loved ones weren't just junkies and addicts, but they were people. They meant something to the world. And they're no longer here because somebody decided that they wanted to make money. A lot of times with speaking out on Pilar and her situation, it's really hard because, one, I don't know if she would want me to tell this story. But I think about all of the lives that we save in honor of her name. And sometimes I know me, and I'm sure other people are scared of how the public will view our loved ones. Like, are they junkies? Are they addicts? they were terrible people that did terrible things. So a lot of times it is hard to tell our stories. But when we're able to have spaces like this to say what happened and who they were, we're able to spread the love and show what type of people they truly were.